Hello, I'm Richard.
And I'm Margot.
And this is week 2 of Charleston Kicking It Old School at Wednesday Night Hop for June. Tonight we moved on from the 20 style Charleston into 30 style Charleston. And we started out working on the basic, which we'll jump right into the rock step version of it, which is the more common version of the two.
We started out by talking about our more athletic posture. So we have bent knees. We want to make sure that we're still more or less upright, though. We don't want to be bent over at the waist too far.
Yep. Slight accordion shape in the knees, hips, and weight over the balls of the feet, swinging our arms and pulsing down into the floor with every beat. And then we moved on to doing the basic, which has a rock, step, pump, hitch, pump, step, rock, step, pump, hitch, pump, step.
Leads are rocking back on their left foot, and follows are rocking back on their right.
And we talked about the idea of, for these pump lands, of making it like you were crushing a can or stepping on an accelerator pedal in front of you and behind you instead of kicking forward or kicking back. So pump, hitch, pump, step, rock, step, pump, hitch, pump, step.
We didn't talk about it in class, but we should have. Whenever you're kicking behind yourself, it's nice to look where you're kicking. It's just to make sure that there isn't somebody standing right behind you or dancing past you.
Okay. Then we partnered up and we offered the arm of welcome for leads. Took this right arm and we aimed for just slightly lower than the middle of our follower's back.
Follows, we draped our arm on the close side of our lead as opposed to wrapping all the way around their back.
We got pretty close together, but there was still a little bit of space between our hips so that we had room for our feet to move in the center.
This is our preferred connection. There are some instructors who will have you connect hip to hip.
Yep.
That's just a different style. You can do that too.
You can do that as well. There's a nice connection when you do that. And then we did our basic and side by side. So you had this rock, step, pump, hitch, pump. And we talked a little bit about swinging the arms opposite with the feet. So we've got the forward with the arms and back with the arms and forward with the arms and back. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And looking at it sideways, there's a little bit of a travel. And leads, we were taking our arm with us when our body moved forward and back so that our follower moved along with us. Okay. After that, we did some variations on the basic. The first was the stomp, which is a stomp on 5 on the forward. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. We led this by continuing our movement leads forward and down after the rock step. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continuous movement down instead of this gentle forward and back for your regular basic.
Follows, we don't get to initiate this move. We have to wait for the leads to do it. But if they lead it well, it should be fairly obvious that we're continuing forward and down.
Okay. After that, we moved on and did the
skip-ups.
Skip-ups were a lot of fun, and we talked about this idea of doing forward out and in motion, rotating our arm open and close like we're hinging at a book at the elbow here for leads and follows.
Leads, obviously, you want to be careful how far you let that arm roll back. You want to protect your own shoulder and elbow. So don't fling your follow back or they will go back and you can hurt your arm and your rotator cuff pretty badly.
And we practiced a little bit this idea of having this little bit of compression with the front hand, with the leads in the front. I like a palm-to-palm connection for this.
Some leads will do it with the regular Lindy compression, and that's fine too.
That's fine. We practiced it with this palm-to-palm compression. And we talked about the kicks itself, where we're kicking in with the lead's foot on top, left leg over the follower's right leg, and then stepping and kicking out, in and out and in. So there's a little bit of a compression, stretch away, compression on the front hand, stretch away, compression on the front hand, stretch away.
And all of the movement that's happening in the front is because Richard is leading the move with his back arm. So we're
opening and closing the door, opening the door, closing the door, opening the door, closing the door. But this hand stays in pretty close to the same spot on the median line in between my legs.
It's mostly window dressing and a little bit of extra balance. You don't actually have to crank your partner forward and backward.
So to dance into this, we started out with with our rock step, and we had a rotational rock step where we opened and then closed on 3. So 1 basic, 3, 5, 6, 7, and rotational, kick, 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 and kick, kick, step, kick. So what we would do is offer the hand in the 8 count before. So you've got your basic.
Basic,
1, 2, 3,
out for the hand.
5, 6, 7, 8, out and in, and out and in. out and in, and out and in. To
And
end this, we did what we call the big kick, which is the same kind of movement, just with a little bit more energy. So in the out, before we want to do the big kick, we'd have a little bit more energy, we'd spring a little bit farther away, we'd open up a little bit more compression, and then we'd do a bigger hit. So in and out and in and out and big kick. And we would get this kind of photo finish moment.
We talked about
more tucked, a little bit more energy, a little bit more crunch here, a little bit more compression.
We talked about the idea that both partners should be more or less balancing themselves, not leaning on each other. So if you separate, you're still on the same foot by yourself.
And then from there, in the big kick, this would be on a count 7 or maybe a count 3 if you put it there. Then we would open back up into our basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So put it all together. We have 1, 2, 3, off of the hand, and
1, 2, 3,
in,
4, 5, 6, 7.
and
1, 2, 3,
big kick,
5, 6, 7.
back to basic. And that was week 2 of our Charleston Kicking It Old School. Come back week 3 and we'll continue with 30 style Charleston. I'm Richard.
Margot,
Wednesday
see you
night
next
out.
time.